Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Jazakumullahu khairan for everybody attending. And just for the recording, I just want to mention again that I'm wearing this today and I'm wearing this, two different things that I don't normally wear. And I'm wearing them because my mum, she bought me this and she wanted me to wear it today, so I'm wearing it. And my mum also wanted me to wear this, so I'm wearing it today. And that's all. There's nothing more in terms of, there's no sheikh going on, there's no nothing, there's no graduate, there's no nothing. It's just simply a case of my mum wanting me to wear it, hafidhahullah. So now
MashaAllah.
inshallah we'll start. Right, so I hope you can, there was lesson 5, lesson 6 and lesson 7. 3 lessons that we're going to do the revision of today, inshallah. Okay, so this was the homework. We've done the homework, so I'm not going to go over the homework. I'm not going to go over the words. We've already covered them. We did that. And we did this. Okay, so lesson 5. Okay, so this is a revision class. So we're just going over what we covered in the last 3 weeks. Whenever you have a question, just unmute yourself and ask the question, no problem, inshallah. So we covered, so we by this time we had done the nouns. We have done the nouns and we're coming on to verbs. Verbs are doing things like to walk, to talk, to play, to laugh, etc. So what we explained is these are verbs and they are also root words. Root words. So these are root words, and a root word basically is like the basic word. You can then add things onto the start or things onto the end to make the meaning different. Like for example, in English we have the word play. Now play, imagine that to be a root word. You can stick ER on the end and make it player, or played, or playing, or replay, or unplay. I don't know if unplay is one. So it's the word play is there. You're just adding things to the end or adding things in front to change the meaning. So it's like that. So these words are the sort of most basic form of the word. So if you look at this, kataba, that is a root word. And the root word is always a verb in the past tense, and he did it. So kataba is a root word which means he wrote. Khalaqa is a root word. It means he created. Ja'ala is a root word. It means he made. Root words can consist of more than 3 letters, but we're just going to concentrate on the ones that are 3-lettered, and maybe it's the majority of them are 3-lettered. Is everybody happy with that? Anybody got any questions? Nope. Okay. So this is an example now. Khalaqa is a root word which means he created. He created. From khalaqa, we can get these different combinations by adding different letters, and we will do the templates later, inshallah. So, for example, when you stick a ya in front of it, yakhluqu, it means he creates. Khalaqa was he created. Then this one here, yakhluqu, means he creates. The khalaqa is still in there. Can you see it's still in there, but we've added something onto it, like replay. Now the meaning has changed. So he creates. If we add something in the middle and we change the vowels, khaliqun, it should say khaliqun. Khaliqun is creator, i.e. the doer of that verb, the one who is doing that thing. Khalaqu means they created. So this is just an example to show you that the root word can be modified to make new meanings. New meanings. These all have one thing in common, and that is their root word is khalaqa. That's where you get makhluk from as well. Makhluk comes from there. It's an Urdu word which means creation, etc. Everybody happy with that? Any questions? These are just examples at the moment. Sound like that too? Right, no questions. Okay. Can somebody just unpause to, can somebody just say something so I know it's working?
It's working.
Okay, it's
No
working.
question. Thank you.
Okay. Did you have a question? No? Okay. Right. So the next thing we covered is we looked at these three verbs. Kataba means he wrote. Sami'a, sami'a Allahu liman hamida. Sami'a means to hear, he heard. And kathura means he increased. He increased. So one thing that is common with all these root words is the vowel on the first letter. It's got a fatha on the first letter or a zabar on the first letter, all of them. The last letter also has a fatha, also has a zabar on the last letter. So two things in common. First letter and the last letter both have a fatha, both have a zabar on them. The only difference is the middle letter has a fatha in this case, a zabar. In this case, it has a kasra, a zair. And in this case, it has a dhamma, a pesh. Okay? So all this slide is showing is that in most cases, the middle letter is going to have a fatha, a zabar on it. In lesser cases, it's going to have a zair, a kasra under it. And in the least cases, it has a dhamma, a pesh on it. So that's just information for you to sort of take away and understand. I can't see your screen. Is it just me? I think it is just you. You might want to just exit and then come back again. Right. So that's just information. Again, anybody who wants me to repeat, or are you happy to move on?
Yes, we move on.
No problem. Okay, move on. Okay. This again, you don't have to memorize this, but it's just for the people, just extra information. These are an example of some of the letters that are added onto the root word to make a new meaning. So we've got ya, wow. These are some of the common letters that are added onto a root word to make a new meaning. So what you could do is look at a word and you can, if you have that knowledge, you can be able to find out what the root word is. And that comes with experience, that comes with learning the patterns. Once you learn the patterns, you should be able to break the word down and recognize what the root word is. And if you know the meaning of the root word, then you can understand the word itself. Can you give an example, please? Okay, so kataba means he wrote. Somebody add one of these letters onto kataba to make the meaning change.
Kitab, add an alif.
Okay, yes,
Katabat.
kitab, fantastic. Add an alif, kitab. Kataba,
Katabat.
katabat, katabat, yes. And taktubu, yaktubu, yaktubuna. Yes, you've got them coming there, etc. Yeah, kitabi, yes, add a ya for kitabi, my book.
Maktab.
Yes, maktab, here we go. Yes. See, all to do with kataba, they're all to do with writing. Okay. Right, so that's an example that you can use.
Naktubu.
Tubu. I don't know if maktubu is a word. Maktabu is a word.
Naktubu.
Oh yeah, naktubu. Yes, naktubu. Yes. So then yaktubu. Yes. Right. So what we did next is I showed you this table, which is the table we learned the previous lesson or the lesson before, and I wanted to show you that this is the table we need to learn for past verbs. Let me just change it. Okay. So we get kataba, which means he wrote. That's the root word. We add an alif to it, kataba. It becomes they both wrote. Katabu, they all wrote. And these numbers here are showing how many times this word comes in the Quran. So over 200 this one, over 300. I don't think this is the word, it's the ending. It's the ending that comes, like kafaru, zalamu, fasaqu. It's that ending that comes over this many times in the Quran. So kafaru means they all disbelieved. Zalamu means they all oppressed. Kafaru, they all disbelieved. Amanu, they all believed. So this u makes it into plural past tense. Let's look at the next one. Katabat. So how would you say? So katabat means that she wrote. How do you say? Zalama means to oppress. How do you say she oppressed?
ظلمت.
Zalamat, exactly. How do you say you oppressed to a male?
ظلمت.
Zalamta. How do you say you oppressed to a female?
ظلمتي.
Zalamti. And how do you say I oppressed?
ظلمت.
Zalamtu. Allahumma inni zalamtu nafsi zulman. Ya Allah, indeed I, zalamtu, I wronged. So this pattern, this template, you can stick many, many, many root words into this here, into this template, and it's going to make the same meaning. So, wajadtu. Wajada means to find. Wajadtu, I found. Zalama, zalamtu, I oppressed. Raja'a means to return. So how do you say I returned?
ارجع
رجعت.
No, raja'tu, I returned.
رجعت.
Khalaqa means to create. He created. What does khalaqtu mean?
I create.
Exactly. And that's all it is. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَمَا, and not khalaqtu, I created. Jinna wal insa illa وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I did not create the jinn and
If you go into the
mankind
door, it's cold.
that they worship me.
Go get a sheet. You writing or anything.
Mute. Everybody's on mute again. Okay. So this is the pattern we had to learn. So katabat, katabata, katabna. Yeah. So how do you say they all women oppressed?
ظلمنا.
Exactly. Zalamna. That's why. So these ones you can see in red are the ones you need to learn. And I explained that the masculine occurs more in the Quran because the masculine includes women as well. Whereas the women, the feminine, only exclusively women. The masculine term includes women, can include women as well. But the feminine one is women only. If you've got 1 million women and you've got one man, now it's become a masculine word. Katabu, they all wrote. Katabtum, you all wrote. And most of the time in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing the men and the women, so the masculine term is used. Everybody clear with that?
Yes.
Okay. So again, katabti, katabtuma, katabtum, the tumas you have to know. But again, the duals don't come up so much. The masculine plurals and singulars come up a lot. Katabti, yeah, so how do you say, for this one here, katabna means we wrote. How do we say, get some other verbs out here. Ja'ala means to make. So how would I say we all made?
جعلنا.
Ja'alna. How do I say you all made?
جعلتم.
Exactly. And how do I say they all made?
جعلوا.
Ja'alu. And this is it. It's this template. I'd say it's the second most important table in the whole of the lesson. Because past verbs, what happened in the past, the Quran is full of stories of the prophets. The Quran also has a lot about the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So past. there's a lot of past information about the previous nations, information about the time of the Prophet ﷺ, which is past for us now. Okay, so past verbs come a lot, so we need to clock this table. We need to clock this table, and this is what we have the revision class for, to give you all a week to sort of absorb, revise, etc., etc. Okay, do we move on?
Yes.
Okay. The reason why I did this is to show you, if you look at this table, look at this, look at the 2M and the 2F here. Look at the endings. The endings are the same. Anta katabta, anti katabti, antuma katabtum, antuma katabtuma, antuma katabtuma, antum katabtum, antunna katabtunna. You might want to actually learn it like that. Anta katabta, anti katabti, antuma katabtuma, antuma katabtuma, antum katabtum, antunna katabtunna. The ending is identical. So if you learn this table well, then this is going to be easy. Okay. Should we quickly do these?
Okay.
Okay, ja'alna. Anybody? Ja'alna?
We made.
We made. Next one, ja'alu. Somebody else?
They made.
They made. Okay,
They
somebody
all
else. Next one, wajadtu.
I found.
Yes, the two is always I did it, right? Remember that. Wajadtum.
You all
They-
found.
You all found.
made. You all found. Yeah.
Brothers, you're included in this as well. It's not just sisters. Brothers, you can also unmute and answer. I know there's not many brothers, but still, brother, a brother for this one. Wajadaka. A tough one. Break this word down. There's two words in this. One is wajada. The other one is ka, which is a pronoun.
Yeah, found you.
Yeah. No. So what does wajada mean? Wajada.
Found you.
He found.
Yeah.
He found.
Yes, he found. And ka is
You.
you. So he found you. He found you. This is the beauty of Arabic. There's different words. You might get one long word, but it's consisting of a few different words put together to make it one. This is like two words. Wajada is he found. Ka is you. Wajadaka, he found you. Are you happy with that?
Yes.
Okay. Next one. Wajadu.
They found.
They all found.
They all found. Excellent. They all found. Kafaru.
They all disbelieved.
They all disbelieved. Is there a football match on at this time?
That's gonna leave now.
Maybe there is. Someone just written that they're watching a football match. Okay. So a few brothers all, please. Sami'tu. Sami'a means he heard, to hear. Sami'tu. When you put a tu on, what does it do?
I heard.
I. Exactly. I heard. Sami'na.
We heard.
We heard. Qataltu.
We killed.
Killed.
I killed.
I killed.
Yes, that's right. I killed. Qatalna.
We killed.
We killed.
We killed. Qatalta.
You
You
killed.
killed.
Yes,
Male.
you killed. Male or female?
Male.
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 Excellent. So this comes in the Quran. Qatalta. But there's something before it. A qatalta. This a, when it comes in front of a verb like this, it means question. Question. So a qatalta, did you kill? Nafsan, soul. Zakiyatan, pure. Did you kill a pure soul? Yes, so someone asking a question. Is pesh always, does pesh always mean I? Yes, it always, with a tu at the end of a verb, always mean I did that verb. So qataltu, I killed. Raja'tu, I returned. Ja'altu, I made. Sami'tu, I heard. Okay, good. All right, next one. So this was the super duper main important rule we had to learn. So, and I drew the equation. I'm not going to draw the equation this time. I'm just going to tell you that there's one grammar rule we needed to know, and the whole reason in lesson 2 or lesson 3 it was that we did marfu, mansub, majroor, those 3 word cases, is so that we can understand a verbal sentence. A verbal sentence is a sentence that begins with a verb. It's got a verb in it. It begins with a verb. In Arabic, you get mainly a nominal sentence and a verbal sentence. A nominal sentence is a sentence that starts off with a noun, and a verbal sentence is a sentence that starts off with a verb, has a verb in it. 33. Sorry, what page? Okay, Jazakallah khair. Right. So what we did is we had to learn a rule. Look at this. Waqatala. What does waqatala mean? This is in the Quran, by the way. What does waqatala mean?
Killed.
And he killed. Now, how do we know who did the killing? So what is
Dawudu.
okay?
Marfu.
What's the rule that we learnt?
Marfu.
Doer is marfu.
The doer
The
is
doer is
always
always
marfu.
marfu.
The doer is always marfu. The doer is always marfu. Or as my daughter says, marfut. So the doer is always marfu. So it means that's why we learnt marfu. So the way you can say Muslimun is marfu, Muslimani is marfu, Muslimuna is marfu. You have to know the marfu, and then also you need to know mansub majroor in order to be able to translate the literal meaning of the Quran, without which you cannot translate. If you didn't know that rule and you didn't know what marfu, mansub, majroor is, you would not know who did the killing and what is going on there. You know somebody killed, but you have no idea what's going on, because you need to learn this for this one grammar rule. You need to learn for the literal meaning of the Quran. There's others you need to learn, but this is the most important one. Before I knew this rule, I struggled. How can I tell? You just have to learn it. You just have to learn it. Just remember that it was that way around. But no, there's actually a rule for it. And the rule is the doer of the verb is always marfu. So this is very important. That means this means Dawood is marfu. So this is how you do it. Waqatala, and he killed. Right. Now let's look to see a marfu word that comes next. Because once we find a marfu word, we know that one is doing the killing. So waqatala, and he killed. Who killed? Oh, Dawood is marfu. So that means Dawood did the killing. Is Jalut marfu? No, that's mansub. So the one that is mansub is the one that the verb is done to. So this is like the subject of the verb. This is the object of the verb. The subject is marfu. The object is mansub. In my language, I don't like subject and object, but some people do like it. But for me, it didn't stick. So I just say the doer is always marfu, and the thing the verb is done to is mansub. So we look at this. Dawudu is marfu, so it means Dawood did the killing. Jalut is mansub, so it means the killing was done on Jalut. So Dawood killed Jalut. David killed Goliath. Does everybody understand that? Because that's essential.
Brother, one question.
Yes?
Dawood is fa'il in it. Fa'il
Yes,
who
Dawood
did
is
the
fa'il.
fa'il, yeah, that's it.
Jalut is
And
maf'ul bihi.
it's maf'ul,
Yes.
maf'ul, yeah.
Yeah, maf'ul
And
bihi
yeah,
is mansub. So the
yeah.
fa'il is always marfu. In saying it for the sisters and
Fa'il
brothers.
who did the killing,
Yes.
and maf'ul is the person who
The killing was done
been
on.
killed.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So when I said the sister was Arab, I mean what the sister, she's done some Arabic before. That's what I use Arabic for in this class. Okay, good. So yes, the fa'il is marfu and the maf'ul bihi is mansub. Right, so we're going to just to drive that in, we've got a few more examples coming up, inshallah. Right, so I don't know if this was the right thing to do, but this is what I thought might be helpful. What I did is I converted it into English. 1 second. So the fa'il is always, okay. So the fa'il isn't always dhamma. The fa'il is always marfu. You see, muslimun, it has a dhamma, but muslimani is marfu. That doesn't have any dhamma, but it is marfu. Muslimuna is marfu. It don't have a dhamma. The dhamma only comes in the singular. Okay, 1 second. Right, okay. Yep, so let's do this one. The boy sat on the chair. So where is the verb?
Sat.
Sat. So who is doing the sitting?
Boy.
Boy. So the boy is going to be marfu. And what is the mansub there?
Chair.
The chair.
Chair. Right, so I'll just put you all on mute again. So the chair is mansub. So the boy is doing the verb, so it's marfu. The chair is a thing that the verb is done on, done to, so it's mansub. The dog jumped over the fence. So where is the verb here?
Jumped.
Jumped. So who is doing the jumping?
Dog.
The dog. So the dog is going to be?
Marfu.
Because the doer is always?
Marfu.
Marfu. Okay, and what is the thing? Why is the mansub going here?
Fence.
Fence. I know you've got these in your booklets, haven't you? You got the answers in your booklets. So try not looking at them. So let's see if we can do them. Right, next one. The man wrote on the paper. So the verb is to write. He wrote. So who is doing the verb?
Man.
So the man is marfu. And the thing that the verb is done to?
Paper.
Paper is going to be?
Mansub.
Okay, what happens in this English sentence if the paper was marfu?
Paper would be with
If the
dhamma.
man and the paper were marfu, what would the meaning be?
That the man on the paper wrote.
Exactly, the man and the paper wrote. This shows you how powerful Arabic is. You can leave the letters in the same place, you can leave the words in the same place, just swap the vowel, just swap the dhammas and the fathas around, and it completely changes the meaning. That's why it's so important to get the dhammas and the fathas correct in the Quran, because a simple change could make the meaning opposite. I know we don't do it on purpose, so that's fine. If somebody does it on purpose, then that's a big issue. But if somebody doesn't do it on purpose, he makes a mistake, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us, we don't do it on purpose. Right. Okay, the man happily wrote on the paper. I was maybe getting a bit carried away doing this, but the man happily wrote on the paper. Where is the doer of the verb?
Man.
The man, he did the writing. What is the thing that the verb is done to?
Paper.
Paper. Okay, I'm just muting everybody now because somebody's asking, can we just mute everybody? There's an echo coming. Okay, I've muted everybody. That's super powerful. Right. So next one. The man looked with envy towards the rich king. So what's the verb?
Looked.
So who's marfu there? The doer. Who's the doer?
Man.
The man.
Man.
Man is marfu. And who is, where's the maf'ul bihi? Where's the thing that the verb is done to?
King.
Yes, king. Not rich, because rich is just describing the king. It's the king that's the one who the man is looking at. Yeah, good.
Sorry, Ustad. What would the actual Arabic translation be for the first one?
You mean you want me to convert it into Arabic?
Yeah, if you don't mind. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Basara rajulu. So the man, he saw. Looked might be a different word. I'm not sure about looked. Happily, I don't know. Ala al-waraqata, on the paper.
Okay, that's fine. Jazakallah khair.
Yeah, barakallahu feek. So mine just is mainly translating what is written. Ra'a, sorry. See, yeah, thinking on the spot is a bit difficult, but ra'a is to look. So ra'a ar-rajulu. على you just write رأى رجل. Sorry, I'm doing something else here. The man looked with envy. The man wrote. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. So kataba means to write. So kataba rajulu. The man wrote. على الورقة. It's waraqati for another reason, because there's a harf jar coming in front of it. That might confuse you even more, so don't worry about it. Okay?
Okay, Jazakallah.
خلق الله الأرض. So خلق means
Created.
he created. So now look to see next that who is the one who created. What do you need to look for?
Marfu.
A marfu word. Allah is
Allah created.
marfu. So Allah is doing the verb. So Allah created, yeah? Created, khalaqa means he created. Allah is marfu. So Allah did the verb. Allah created al-arda. Al-arda is mansub. So that means the creation. Allah created the earth. The earth is the thing being created. Yes? So خلق الله. Allah created al-arda. Al-arda is mansub. So it means the creation is being done to the earth. So the earth is being created. Yes?
Majroor ever feature?
Sorry?
Does majroor ever feature? So khalaqallahu al-ardi.
No, al-ardi wouldn't come unless there was a harf jar in front of it. If there was one of those majroorifying words that came before it, then you'd get a majroor. Otherwise, it's not going to be majroor. It's going to be mansoob.
Thank you.
Next one. Okay, so this is the doer. This is the thing that the verb is done to. So, subject of the verb, object of the verb. So sometimes the doer is not going to be mentioned. So here we see khalaqa. Khalaqa means he created. Now let's look to see, can we find the doer of the verb? No, we can't. So we just know that he created. We know it's Allah created, but just in the sentence just like that, you don't know who did it because the doer is not mentioned. So khalaqa, he created. Okay, let's look at the next word, al-arda. So it means he created the earth. It's not mentioned by name who did the creation, but he created is all in this one, khalaqa, he created. Root word always means he did that thing. Khalaqa means he created. Al-arda is the thing that the creation is done to. So he created the earth. There's no fa'il, there's no doer in this two words. Everybody happy with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Right, so let's just look at this one. So fi in qulubihim. Qulub means hearts. It's a broken plural, we've not done it. Qulub is broken plural, hearts. Him, theirs. So in their heart, their hearts. Maradun. Maradun means disease. Let's just do that. So disease, in Urdu we say marz, and we say mariz. It's the same word. So fi qulubihim, in their hearts. Maradun, there is a disease. Fazada. Fazada. Fa means so. Zada is like the Urdu word ziyada. What ziyada mean? Increase.
Very much.
So fazada, so zada, he increased. It's a root word. Fazada, so he increased hum, them. Fazada hum, he increased them. Who increased them? Let's look for a marfu word. Allah is marfu. So that means Allah increased them. Maradan.
You can hear a really loud echo in the background. I don't know if anybody else can hear it.
Yes.
Okay, I've muted everybody, so I hope it's gone better now. Right, so fazada, so he increased them. Can you hear it now?
No, it's gone when you mute
Okay.
the dog.
Excellent. Right, so somebody's got a super high sensitive microphone maybe. Right, so fazada, so he increased, them. Who increased them? Oh, Allah. Allah is the doer of the verb because Allah is marfu. So Allah increased them. Marada, in what? What was increased? The disease. So Allah increased them in the disease. Yep, so that's the example of the doer, and that's the thing that the verb is done to. Walahum, and for them. And for, Islam means for, them, hum, walahum, and for them, adabun, a punishment, alimun, painful, bima, because of what, for what, with what. If you even translate in your mind with what, you still get the idea of what's going on. Because be many times means with, and ma many times means what. So with what? Because of. Kanu, we've done kanu now. Kanu means they all used to be. Yakdhibun, they used to lie. Yakdhibun, they all lie, literally. Happy with that translation? We should be able to have a go at translating that, okay, you need to know zada, you need to know mard, qulub, qalb, yeah, you need to know a few words, but they're coming. We're doing them in our vocabularies. Happy to move on?
Yeah.
Super. Right, so
Is yaksibuna, is that liars or to tell lie? Like, is that a noun or is that a verb?
okay. Oh, sorry, I just muted you. Can you just?
It's okay. I thought it was they all lie. Yakdibuna.
Yes,
they all lie.
That's right. They all lie.
So it's a verb, but kanu is they all were, and then they all lie. It's like two verbs in a row.
It's two verbs, and it's also a past verb. This is a past verb, and this is a present verb. Yeah, so they all used to, and then they all lie. So there's some reasons why Ganu is sometimes, there'll be some reason why this present verb is used and not the past verb. And you have to go into the higher sort of why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is the significance of putting a present verb there. But yeah, there's a past verb here and then there's a present verb here. But it means they all used to tell lies. Can you give some more? Can you give some more examples, more sentences of the fa'il and the maf'ul bihi? Yes, inshallah, we're going to do some more, inshallah. Right, so that's this one. And something I mentioned as well in the group that sometimes a past verb is used when talking about the present. Because that sort of, it solidifies, it makes the sentence stronger. As that كان الله غفورا رحيما, as somebody asked, that كان الله غفورا رحيما, or كان الله, yeah, كان الله غفورا رحيما. So كان الله translates as Allah is غفورا رحيما, but really kana means he was. Kana is a past verb, means to be, he was. So كان الله غفورا رحيما. So why is it translating to be the present tense when it's a past verb? So the ulama say that past verbs makes the thing stronger. It's like when somebody gets married, in the nikah, they don't write I am marrying, because that's present tense. And once you've written I am marrying so and so, afterwards somebody might look and say, well, did you marry the person then? Because it's I am marrying, it's not like confirmed. In the nikahs, they write I married so and so. It's solidified and emphasized, and it's stronger. Even though it's present, he's marrying now, but he's written I have married, I married. So also another explanation, كان الله غفور رحيم, Allah always was Ghafur Rahim. He is now and he always will be. So it's got a past connotation there as well. So yeah, sometimes you're going to get past verbs come in and meaning present sentences. You'll still understand it though, inshallah. You'll still understand it even if that happens, inshallah. All right, okay, let's move on. So this is a sister just written that, can you give some more examples? So here are some more examples. So if you can not look at your books, that would be good. So Nasara, what does Nasara mean? Ansar. Nasir,
helped.
Nasir. Yes, so
He
he
helped.
helped. Okay, root word, Nasara, he helped. Now, who helped? Carry on. Al-Muslimun al-Kafirin. So who did the helping?
Muslims.
Why did the Muslims
He
do the
did.
helping?
Ish. Dhamma.
Muna.
Yeah, because not just the Dhamma, it's the whole thing is marfu. It's plural marfu. So all the Muslims, they helped. They did the helping. Who did the help?
Disbelievers.
The disbelievers, kafirina. So we know the disbelievers are the ones being helped because it's not marfu. It's actually mansub. Mansub and majroor in plural look the same. But we know this one is mansub because it's a verbal sentence. And the thing that the verb is done to is mansub. The doer of the verb is marfu. So Nasar al-Muslimun al-Kafirina means the Muslims helped the disbelievers. Yes, Muslims helped the non-Muslims. That's right. Mister. Happy with that? Everybody? What happens if I wrote Nasar al-Muslimun al-Kafiruna? What would have that meant? Nasar al-Muslimun al-Kafirun. If this was marfu,
Believers helped.
yes, then it would have meant the Muslims and the disbelievers helped. If I wrote Nasar al-Muslimin al-Kafirin, then what would it have meant? Nasar al-Muslimin al-Kafirin.
They were both helped.
Yes, so he helped. Somebody helped the Muslims and the disbelievers. That's how important the cases are in Arabic. They are that important. It will change the meaning completely. So you have to know what's going on in the sentence. This is not the Quran. This one is not in the Quran. I just made this one up. I don't think this is in the Quran. I just made this one up just to explain this rule.
Brother,
So Ustad,
can you please tell us the translation? Nasru min Allahi fatah.
Nasrun min Allah fathun. Nasrun. I'll have to think about that. Nasrun is masdar. Yeah. I'll have to think about that. On the spot, it's a bit difficult. But help from
sorry,
Allah.
Ustad, you know, it's
Help from Allah and an opening. Roughly, very roughly. Nasrun min Allah, help from Allah and an opening. Nasrun min Allah wa fath. But again, if it's Quran, then I don't want to translate it just like that. But something like that.
how come it's not Nasaru if it's Muslimuna?
How come it's not?
Nasaru. So you know, Muslimuna means three or more Muslims.
Yes.
Should we not be using the three or more verb?
Ah, good point. Good question. Good question. If you look at your books, yes, it's a good point. So he's saying, if you're using the plural of Muslims, then why are you not saying Nasaru? And that's what good question. Let me just go to, what page is this? Can someone tell me, please?
34.
24.
Yeah,
24.
straight in here. Is that her or Hoyle?
1 second. I'll just do a mute there. Mute all. There you go. Okay. What page? Can anybody tell me what page the slide is on, please?
34.
34. Okay, Jazakallah khair. Yeah, so in your books, can you see in your books, I've written a different word, qatalu, but that was when I wasn't recording. Right. So in there I put plural, but I put in there saying this is not the correct way of saying the sentence. So the reason why nasaru isn't done there is because in Arabic, when you're doing a sentence like this, you use a singular. Use a singular. Why? I don't know, but you use a singular when you're doing a sentence with plural in. But it still means all the Muslims helped. Yeah, does that answer your question? So Arabic isn't written like Nasaru al-Muslimun. That's not. It's just Nasara. The singular is used, even when you're talking about the plural. But the plural will be understood by looking at the translation of this word here.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Jazakallah.
Yeah, barakallahu feek. But yeah, okay, that's why I said Fath. Fath is victory. Fath is victory. Also, Fatha means to open, actually. But when you do a victory, you open in. Like, for example, if you are victorious in the land, you've opened the land. So that's why I didn't want to just translate like that. Jazakallah khair, sister. Yeah, victory. She said that victory Fath means victory. That's right, Jazakallah khair. And fataha, the word fataha means to open. So when you have a victory, you open the land. So yeah, that's why I don't like to translate this on the spot. I have to, when I'm doing a class and people ask me that question, then I have to think about it.
Brother,
Is it?
Yep,
Nasrullahi wal fathu.
yep. Nasrullahi means the help of Allah. Wal fath, and the victory, yes. But that other question was saying Nasrum min Allahi wa fath, which is something else, which is very similar. I think Nasr is one help, but many. Okay. Can you please repeat the question? I think Nasara is one help, but many people. Yes. So the question was, why is Nasara used here, which means singular, he helped, but then al-Muslimuna is plural. Why didn't I use the plural word Nasaru al-Muslimuna? Because the answer is because in Arabic, when you have a sentence like this, you still use the singular. When you have Muslimuna doing the verb, you still use the singular here. That's just a rule in Arabic that I've seen many times. So that's why it's like that.
Is that always the case when the pronoun's not used? So if it was they all helped the disbelievers, then it would have been the plural form of the verb. But because it's the Muslims that help the disbelievers.
No, even if it's the other way around, it would, all right, okay. If this was singular,
No, if there was you were having to use what do you call it? Instead of it, like a pronoun instead of a noun. Instead of Muslims, it would have been they. They helped the disbelievers.
yeah,
Then you the plural form of the verb, but because you're using a noun who's doing the doing, it's the singular form of the verb.
that's maybe it, yes. That's maybe, yeah. So if the doer wasn't mentioned, then you would have maybe said Nasaru, they all helped al-Kafirina. Maybe, yeah. But the ones who are doers, they're mentioned in the plural, so this one is just in the singular form. Yeah, and yeah, it's just the way it is written in Arabic. You won't write Nasaru al-Muslimuna. It's just the way it is. Okay, we move on.
Brother, sorry, I
Yeah.
failed to ask thing properly. Iza jaa Nasrullahi. So Allahi, Allah, if we haven't got Dhamma on Allah, the subject should be Dhamma.
No, that's something else. There's another grammar rule. There's another grammar rule going on there. That's not Nasara. That's Nasr. So that's not a verb anymore. That's a masdar, which is a verbal noun. It's not a verb. Nasr isn't a verb. It's Nasrun. That's not a verb. Nasara is a verb. And there's another grammar rule going on there as well. So yeah, I won't worry about that at the moment. Yeah, Nasrullah. Nasrullah is something else. Another grammar rule. Right. Okay. So what's that? So the verb that appears at the beginning always a singular. It is in this case, and many times it's like a plural. Using a plural there, you use a singular verb. The reason I don't have to worry too much about that again is because it's written in the Quran. As long as you understand Nasara and as long as you understand Al-Muslimun, but yes, you will get the singular verb being used sometimes when plurals are mentioned. Yeah. Nasara al-Muslimin al-Kafirun. So Nasara again means
Help.
he
To
helped.
help.
Muslimin al-Kafirun. Who is doing the helping this time?
The Muslim women.
Nope.
Kafirun.
Believers. All the
The
kafirs.
Kafirun, the disbelievers, are doing the
The
helping because
disbelievers help the Muslims.
exactly. Yes, because the disbelievers this time are marfu. Una is marfu, plural. Kafiruna, so Nasara, he helped. Who helped? Al-Kafirun helped the Muslimin. Muslimin is mansub. Happy with that one? No answers, so I think that's good.
Yes, brother, carry on.
Okay, so here we're going into dual now, dual. So this is just my examples. Nasara, he helped. Al-Muslimani al-Kafiraini. So who is doing the helping?
Two Muslims. Two
How
Muslims.
many Muslims?
Two Muslims.
Two. Because ani is marfu for dual, yes? Ani is marfu for dual. So this is marfu as well. Ani is marfu. It's the marfu pattern for dual. So the two Muslims helped al-Kafiraini.
Two disbelievers.
Exactly. So the two Muslims helped the two disbelievers. If it was Nasar al-Musliman al-Kafirani, then what would it mean? If this was Kafirani, then what would it mean? Okay, so Ani is marfu as well. So it would have meant that the Muslims and the disbelievers helped. Helped somebody, but helped. They're both doing the verb if they were both marfu. If they were both Ani, they were both marfu, so they're both doing the Nasara, the help. Yep.
Yeah.
Nasara al-Muslimain al-Kafirani. So what does this one mean? Nasara, he helped. Right, who did the helping? Who is doing the verb?
Two disbelievers.
Yes. Because Ani is
Help.
marfu. Yep,
Two Muslims.
exactly. So the two disbelievers helped. Why? Because Kafirani is marfu. Ani is marfu for dual. So the Kafirani, the two disbelievers, did the helping. And who did the help? Al-Muslimaini. That's mansub dual. Aini is mansub and majroor dual, but we know it's mansub because it's a verbal sentence and it's the object of the verb. It's the thing the verb is being done to. Yep. So these are just examples. We will do some examples from the Quran, inshallah, because I think the next two lessons we can cover in 1 hour or in about 50 minutes, inshallah. I'll quickly go over that. Right, okay, so here we go. These are the verses we didn't do in our lesson, so I'm just going to try to cover some now, inshallah. So, a sister, please. Jama'a malan. But tell me word for word. What is jama'a?
Gathered.
Gathered.
More information, not just gathered. Jama'a means
He gathered.
He
the
gathered.
He
root word.
gathered.
Yeah, the way you can tell it's a root word is three. The way you can tell it's a root word is 3 letters. Jama'a, and the first and the last have got a fatha on. So jama'a, he gathered malan, wealth. Who gathered?
He did.
Don't know.
Okay, we don't know the name because there's no marfu. But we know malan didn't gather. Why?
Mansub.
Because malan's mansub, so the gathering was done on the mal. Right? So jama'a, sorry?
Take it right now. You're acting like I'm hiding it from this.
Okay, I just muted everybody. Okay, خلق الأرض, we've done that. He created the earth. Let's do this one. Wadakhala. What does wadakhala mean, brother? What does wadakhala mean?
He entered.
And he entered. Wow. Wadakhala, and he entered
And he
al-Madinata.
entered
The
the
city.
Medina. The
Yes.
Medina.
So who is the doer there? Do we know the doer?
He.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't know his name because it's not mentioned, is it? It's just in there. The doer is in there. Wadakhala, he entered. But we don't have a specific word that is marfu afterwards. But we have a Madinata, which means the verb is being done to the city. So, and he entered the city. What would the translation be if it said وَدَخَلَ الْمَدِينَةُ? If it said Madinatu, what would it mean then?
In Medina.
Nope.
Entered in Medina.
Who entered in Medina? Al-Madinatu.
I entered.
No. If it said وَدَخَلَ الْمَدِينَةُ, what would the translation be then?
She entered the city.
Nope. Madinatu.
They
I
entered the
entered.
city.
Nope.
I entered.
They entered.
No. وَدَخَلَ means and he entered. Al-Madinatu.
Medina entered.
Yes.
Does it not mean it's
Yes.
plural?
1 second. I'm just going to pause. I'm just going to mute you all. Yes, so وَدَخَلَ الْمَدِينَ. If somebody says وَدَخَلَ الْمَدِينَةُ, then Medina has now become marfu. So that means Medina did the entering. It wouldn't make sense. So that then it would mean the city entered, right? If that became marfu, if that became Madinatu. So it's not Madinatu, it's Madinata. That means he entered the city. Does everybody understand that difference?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
That's why it's very important to get our Fatah and Dammas Kasras right in the Quran, because it can change the meaning completely. If somebody said وَدَخَلَ الْمَدِينَةُ, now Medina is marfu, so Medina is the doer of the verb. So then it would be Medina entered, which doesn't make sense. The city entered, right? So it's not that. It's وَدَخَلَ الْمَدِينَةَ. So, and he entered the city. Okay? فَخَرَجَ مِنْهَا. The fa means so. So what does kharaja mean?
Leave.
He left. So in a sentence it means?
He left.
He left. So he left minha.
From
From her.
it.
It. From it. A feminine. It's a feminine thing, yeah? So he left from it. So we don't know who did the leaving, because the doer is always marfu, but there's no marfu word here, so we don't know who did it, but he entered, he left from it. Next one, وَذَكَرَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا. So وَذَكَرَ means?
And he
And
remembered.
remembered.
And he remembered. Who remembered? Who did the verb? Do we
Allah.
know?
No.
No, because Allah is mansoob, so Allah didn't do it. Because Allah is mansoob. If Allah was marfu, if this word was marfu, then, but this is not marfu, this is mansoob. So, and he remembered, carry on.
And he
Allah.
remembered
And he
about
remembered Allah. Yeah, Allah is mansoob, so that means the verb is being done to Allah. So the remembrance is being done about Allah. So, وَذَكَرَ, and he remembered Allah كَثِيرًا.
A lot.
Yes, a lot. Much. We'll miss this one out, okay? We'll miss this one out. We'll go on to this one. قال.
He said.
He said,
He said,
I
I am
I
خير
No,
better
better.
minhu.
from him.
Yes, than him. So from him, than him. So he said, I خير, better minhu, than him. All right, then we'll do this one. This is going to take a bit of time. رجع.
Returned. He returned.
He returned. Musa.
Musa returned.
Yes. How do you know
and
Musa?
Musa.
How do you know Musa returned? Does Musa look marfu?
No.
No. So Musa is one of those special words that doesn't take a dhamma, but it is marfu, but the dhamma is not there. You can't see it. It's that's why I didn't want to do this one, because it's make it a bit complicated. But basically, it's one of those words that it's a non-Arab word, Musa, right? So non-Arab names.
As well.
Sorry?
Is it because it's a name? It's a pronoun.
Because it's a name as well.
Yes, a name. It's a non-Arab name. That's why some non-Arab names they don't take a dhamma, but you just have to know that this one is marfu in the sentence. You'd maybe understand it from the context of the sentence, but you won't see a marfu sometimes you won't see a marfu sign there. You won't see the dhamma there, because some words that don't take a dhamma, like this one doesn't take a dhamma. So just remember that. Sometimes you might see Musa, Isa, like words like that, and they don't take a dhamma, but they might still be the doer of the verb. It's just that some words like that just don't take the dhamma. Like a non-Arab name doesn't take dhamma. Or it's one of the sort of characteristics of a non-Arab name. So Musa, he returned ila
To
qawmihi,
his people, his nation.
people, his nation. Excellent. Let's just okay, this one here, let's just do this one, because I think we need to move on. Sami'a means
He
He
heard.
heard.
He heard. Allahu,
Allah
Allah.
subject. Allah heard.
Allah heard. Because Allah is doing the verb. Because Allah is marfu, so the doer of the verb is always marfu. So Allah is doing the sami'a. So sami Allahu, Allah heard. See another one. Let's just do this one here. Let's just do this last one here. Yeah. Qala. Anybody?
He said,
He said. Ana
I
I
am
am
khayrun
better
minhu.
than
Than
or
him.
from him.
Okay, look at this next one now. Khalaqtani. Tell me what's going on there. Khalaqtani. Two words here. What does khalaqta mean? Khalaqta.
Created.
No, khalaqta. What does khalaqta mean?
He created.
Not he created,
You
that's
created.
khalaqa. Yes, you created. Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
It's the masculine terminology. You created. So khalaqta, you created ni. What does ni do?
Me.
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 Yeah, me.
Me.
You created me.
Me.
Me. Like kitabi, my book. It's that same, yeah. This noon appears here. Then the reason why the noon appears here is to protect the ta. If this noon didn't come, it would become khalaqti. Khalaqti doesn't make changes the meaning. Khalaqti means feminine. So that noon comes to protect that fatha of the ta. The good thing is it's already written in the Quran. So you just have to know that sometimes e, sometimes ni. So khalaqta, you created ni, you created me. Carry on. Min,
From.
from. Narin.
Fire.
Wa khalaqtahu. Wa khalaqtahu. So again, wa khalaqta means
You
you
created
created who?
him.
Exactly. And you
him.
created him. Min
From.
teen,
Oh, clay.
clay.
Soil.
So this is Shaitan, he's saying. قال أنا خير منه. He said, I am better than him. Talking about Adam al-Islam. خلقتني, you created me from fire. وخلقته, and you created him from clay. Can you see how, you've got the templates. If you learn the templates well, you can translate this sentence. Okay, you need to know what nar means, you need to know what teen means, but the rest of it, we've done it. We've covered it. You just have to be able to break the word down. Khalaqata, you created ni, me. Wa khalaqata, and you created who, him. Teen, that's teen, not teen. Teen with a ta means clay. Tini was zaytun. That's what teen, that's teen with a ta. Somebody's asking that, does teen not mean fig? Right, so that's what tini was zaytun. Right, next one. We'll just do this one, then we'll have a 5-minute break. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, or 10 minute. We'll do 10-minute break, and then you can read the salah as well, inshallah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Jazakallah khair. I'm just going to pause it here. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. So that's our 10-minute break done. So I'm just going to go on to the next because I might not have time to complete it all. So here were the words we had to learn. Then were all the homeworks. I'm going to skip all that. Right, lesson 6. So in lesson 6, we talked about verbs, and we said there are 2 types of verbs. One is the irregular verb or weak verb, and the other one is the regular verb. What is an irregular verb? So we need to define these verbs. What is irregular? What is regular? So an irregular verb or a weak verb is a verb in in whose root letter, in which the root word has either alif, a waw, or a ya. So here is a root word here, qala. This qala is a weak verb because it has a weak, so weak or irregular. It has a weak letter inside it, an alif. So it becomes a weak verb. This one, kana, has an alif there, so it becomes a weak verb. Wajada has a waw in there, so it becomes a weak verb. So that's one way to tell that a verb is weak, because it contains either an alif or a waw or a ya in the root word. One of the root letters is a alif, waw, or ya. Happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And the second way to tell that a verb is weak is if the second and the third letter are the same. So this is dad, lam, and a lam. But we just put the shad on it. That means double lam. So if the second and the third letter of the root word are the same, then it becomes a weak verb. So dalla is a weak verb. Happy with that?
So that will always be shown with a mud, won't it?
Shad, a shad. Yeah,
A
W.
shad.
Yeah.
Please
What's the
put
shad
the
called in
screen a
Arabic?
little bit up.
Sorry?
And can you move the screen a little bit up, please? Because I can't see the bottom one.
That's
You
something,
have to press your phone.
that's something on your, you might want to exit the meeting and come back. That's something on your end. I think on my end.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think,
Now I can see, brother. Now I can see.
okay. Okay, so this is the definition of a weak verb. And everything else is a regular verb. So ja'ala is regular. Alima is normal, a normal verb. Kataba is a normal verb because it doesn't have alif, waw, ya in there. And the second and the third root letters are not the same. So the reason why we did this is because this is the normal pattern. This table that we've just done is the pattern for the regular verbs. An irregular verb, you can put an irregular verb into here, but you're going to struggle to fit it properly in everything. Like khalaqa, khalaqa, khalaqu, this is all fine. Khalaqa is a regular verb. Kafara is a regular verb. You just slot it into here. Kafarat, khalaqat, ja'alat, etc. They will just, a regular verb will sit into this table, no problem. But an irregular verb, when you put it into the past tense table, you're going to struggle somewhere and you're going to have to make a slight modification. That's why we're learning about weak verbs, irregular verbs, that they don't fully sit into this table just like that. They don't slot in. Sometimes you've got to make some slight adjustment, as we saw in lesson 6. So for example, we put qala in here now. So if you look at your regular table, verb table on page, let me just see what it is. If you go to page 31, the top left slide on page 31, this one here, is this slide here. Slide here, kataba, it's this one here. Look at this one, and now I want you to start filling in these yourself, but with qala. So with qala, it's a weak verb, so somewhere along the line, you're going to have a problem. So let's try. So what would go here?
قال.
Qala. Qala is a root word. Qala, he said. Look at your patterns, and the pattern, the endings are all going to be the same. You're going to have to make some adjustment to the start sometimes. So what is this one?
قال.
Qala. Qala, yeah? Did you say qala?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because kataba becomes kataba, so qala becomes qala. Then what does this one become?
قالوا.
Qalu. So far, it fits in the table, no problem. Qala, qala, qalu. Kataba, kataba, katabu. So far, it sits in, no problem. Let's do the next one.
قالت.
Yes, just take the ta.
قالت.
Qalat. So qalat
قالت.
is like katabat. This one here?
قالتا.
Qalata. This one here?
قلنا
Yes, it's
قلنا
qulna. But look, what have we done? You couldn't say you couldn't say qalat, qalata, qalana. It's not qalana. So this is where we have to make the slight adjustment to the table, to the starting of the word. The ending stays the same, but the starting of the word we're having to change it because it's a weak verb. We have to put a dhamma on the qaf. Now it fits. Qulna. Qulna means they all said. Now you can continue with the rest of the table. What's this one?
قلت
Qulta. This one?
قلتما
Qultuma.
قلتم
Qultum. This one?
قلتي
Yep.
قلتما قلتن
Yeah. This one?
قلت
Qultu, I said.
قلنا
Qulna. Okay, so the whole purpose of this exercise was to show you that there are such verbs called weak verbs. And the problem with a weak verb is it doesn't sit into the regular table, into the normal table, just like it doesn't slot in. You've got to, when you come up to here, so far it does qala, qala, qalu, that's fine. Qalat, qalata, that's fine. Over here, you couldn't say qalana, and you couldn't say qalata, and qalatuma, and qalatum. No. For qala, it's going to change here to qulna. Now, it's going to continue. Qulta, qultuma, qultum. The endings are all the same as a regular table, but the starting of a weak verb, you got to adjust them, and each weak verb has its own adjustment. So ideally, you need to know the table for each weak verb to be able to understand all the permutations of that weak verb. The book that I based this class on only dealt with qala and kana because these words come frequently in the Quran. So I'm only going to deal with the words we're only going to look at the full tables for the verbs qala and kana. So somebody's got a question. Why is the second root letter in alima kaliya kasra? Because that's just the way the root word is. So alima, so the sister's asking, why does the second letter have a kasra? Why is it alima and not alama? That's just because that's what the root word is. That's how in Arabic you say it. Alima. That's just the way it is. Just have to learn that with the verb. Yep. So there's no formula that I know of. Happy? Right, okay. So let's do kana now. Kana. Right. So I'll help you with the first one. Kana means he was. How do you say they both were?
كان
Kana. And this one here?
كانوا
Kanu.
كانت
Kanat.
كانتا
Kanata.
كنا
Yes. Why have you done kunna? Because kanana wouldn't fit. It's irregular. Normally you would say kanat, kanata, kanana. But kanana is not going to work. You don't say kanana. You change it. It's a weak verb. You have to make some slight modification. The ending stays the same. The endings all stay the same. But we had to make some adjustment to the starting of the word. Like qulna, you had to put a dhamma on. Even with kana, you put a dhamma. They're similar weak verbs. So it becomes kunna. Now you can use that formula to continue with the rest. What's this one? Kunta. This one?
كنتما
Kuntuma.
كنتم
Kuntum. This one?
كنتي
Kunti.
كنتما
Kuntuma.
كنتن
Kuntunna.
كنت
Kuntu.
كنا
Kunna. Kunna. Right, so can you see even this kunna has become joined and like that. Kunna, kunna. And this one, so this is the table for the weak verb kana. The past tense table for kana. Is everybody happy with that?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's
Yes.
weak. So weak verb means it doesn't it doesn't slot into the table just like that. You have to make some adjustment to the weak verb in order for it to all work. And the reason why qala and kana was done was because it occurs a lot in the Quran. But each weak verb will have its own table. Some may fit in. I think wajada fits in all of it. Wajada, wajada, wajadu, wajadat, wajadata, wajadna. That all fits, but it may be adjustments are needed in the present table for that one.
Both of these examples were irregular verbs because of the letters. Do you know what would happen if it was the irregular verb because of the double second and third letters?
That'll be tricky. So dalla, that dalla.
Yeah, like
Dalla, dalla, dallu, dallat, dallata, dalna. I don't know what that one would be, but yeah, it might be even trickier there. And then dalta, I don't know what it will be. Yeah, I've never done that one, so I'll have to look it up. But yeah, it's going to be, maybe dalla is going to be even more difficult to put in. But maybe the person who wrote the book that I based it on, maybe he knows that dalla doesn't come up so much, so he didn't sort of, or those weak verbs that have a same double ending, they don't come up so much, so he's not bothered with that. But yeah, it looks to me it's quite hard to put in. So a question here, how will you know when it's they were or we were in a sentence? So they were would be kanu, and we were would be kunna. Is that what you're meaning? So they were in a
I
sentence would
wonder
be.
if they mean
No, I
when
think
you'd say
feminine.
which one. But
Sorry?
your answer last to that was that it's already written in the Quran.
Yeah.
I think they mean when would we know which one to use?
Yeah. The thing is, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about which one to use because it's already written in the Quran. Sometimes like some words, past words are used, but they translate to a present sentence. They're already written, and I think the context will help you understand that. Okay, right. We've got 15 minutes left. These numbers, by the way, in red for the people who are new, is the amount of times I could find that in the Quran. So 269 masculine ones come in a lot in the Quran. Right, not going to do this. We've got 15 minutes left, so we'll get straight on to last week's class. Right. So present tense. This is last week's class. The last one. 15 minutes, inshallah, to do this one. So we've done the past tense table. You can get a verb, you can get a root word, stick it in that table, and you're gonna know. As long as you know what the root word means, and as long as you know what the template ending means, you will be able to understand and translate that word, because you learnt the formula and you learnt the root word. So a quick thing to remember: when you stick some letters at the end of a verb, when you stick a suffix at the end of a word, then that's an indication that it's a past tense verb. So when you get a verb, a root word, and you put something at the end of, you attach something at the end of that verb, it's past tense. What we're going to learn in this lesson is when you stick something at the start of the root word, you stick a prefix onto a root word, it makes it into present tense, as we're going to see inshallah. So kataba is he wrote, past tense, root word. Yaktubu is present tense. Look, a ya has come before, a prefix has been attached onto the start of the root word, so it means present tense. It's present tense, he writes. And yaktubuna is they all write. We will do the formula inshallah, we will do the table in a bit inshallah. Alima, to know, he knows, so he knew. Ya'lamu, he knows. Stick a ya on, it makes it into present tense. And ya'lamuna, they all know. Another one is raja'a. Raja'a means he returned. So to say he returns, yarji'u, he returns. You stick a ya on, it makes it present tense. And then you stick the una at the end, and it makes it into plural, present tense. So they all return. And then what we mentioned is we said, look at these here. Yaktubu. This one's yaj'alu. This one is yarji'u. Everything else is the same. The first letter gets a ya with a fatha on, a ya with a zabar on. The second letter when it converts into present tense, gets a sukoon on it. Yaj, yak, yar. And the third letter, okay, the fourth letter has a dhamma on it. Yaktubu, yaj'alu, yarji'u. But the third letter, the one that I've highlighted here, for this verb, it's a dhamma. And there's no rule, it's just you have to learn that for kataba, this letter in the present is a dhamma, is a pesh. That's why you try to learn the present with the past for each verb. So kataba yaktubu. Now you've learned the two, that this one is the two. For ja'ala, this third one has a fatha on. That's just the rule. For ja'ala, the third one has a fatha on. And for raja'a, the third one has a kasra. So this is just something you have to, there's no rule that why is it dhamma on this one, why is it fatha on this one, why is it kasra on this one. There's no rule, there's no formula. It's just built in with that verb. So for this verb, it's a dhamma on this one. For this verb, it's a fatha on this one. For this verb, it's a kasra on this one. And then once you figured it out, once you know what this is, it carries on all the way through. Yaktubuna, it's going to stay there. This is going to stay fatha here. This is going to stay kasra even here. And in all the permutations that come in the present table. Is that understood? Yeah, una makes plural. So do you understand that, what I just said, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. That's why, if I reverse back very quickly, look. غفر يغفر. So for غفر, it's the kasra يغفر. فقال, or it's يقول, it's different, that one, that's a weak verb. ذكر يذكر, it's a dhamma for that one, for ذكر. أخذ is يأخذ. أمر is يأمر. حسب يحسب. That's why you have to learn the present really with the past in order to know how to say the present. مات يموت. كفر يكفر. It's not يكفر, it's not يكفر, it's يكفر. نصر is ينصر, it's a dhamma. نزل is ينزل, it's a kasra. وجد is يجد. That's why I put these on here, so you can sort of learn that. If you can't, it's already written in the Quran. If you know kafara, then you're going to see yakfuruna in the Quran. You're going to see takfuruna. You're going to see, yakfuru. You're going to see it already written. So you don't have to like specifically learn it because it's already written in the Quran. The whole point of this class is just to be able to understand what is written, not to be able to make sentences for yourself, because that's a separate science. Then this is just to understand what is written. So you don't have to even remember the present. This one here full, because it's already written in the Quran. But that's what you need to do if you want to, you understand where it's going from.
Can I please ask a question about the vocabulary
Yes.
that you were just on?
Yeah.
How come sometimes the aleph, like in kala, is just aleph and mata is just aleph, but in amara and in akhaza it has like a hamza on top?
Yeah. That's just yeah, the different well, for qala, really, qala, the three letters that make up qala is really qaf, waw, and lam. So really qala is, if you look in a dictionary, if you look for qala in a dictionary, you won't find it there. You'll find it qaf, waw, lam. So this is actually the root letter. It's coming out only in the present though. You only see it in the present. And this one, maybe with this one as well, the root letter is a waw, but you don't see it in the past. It's weak. So it's different things going on. So it's maybe something to do with that. But yeah, just take it as this, that the weak verb, the irregular verb, different things are going to happen. Different things are going to happen. You just have to sort of learn the ones that come most frequently in the Quran.
But they still make the same sound when you're reading them?
No, yeah, so this one, amara ya'muru. It's just, the present is just going to be ya'muru for that one. Ta'muru, ya'murani, ya'muruna, for example. So this one, and where's the other one? No, so this one and this one are similar. Akhadha ya'khudhu, amara ya'muru. So yeah, for this one, this hamza comes here, but for this one here, the waw comes. It's just what it is for that verb. Yaktubu or taktubu. Yaktabu or taktabu. They can both, it's taktubu actually. Yaktubu and taktubu. Okay. So we're going now to the table. This is the table. So with this one, the main thing we talked about is if you can't learn the feminines and you're struggling, then forget the feminines. Forget the feminines. If it's a choice between learning the table, all of it, or giving up completely, then don't do that. Do the middle way, or the middle sort of compromise, which is just learn the masculine ones. Learn the masculine ones. That's why I sort of edited this out in this page here, saying, look, just learn this. Yaktubu means third person. The one rule we talked about is for second person, the ta is always coming at the start. Look, for second person, they're all starting with ta all the time. So as one of the sisters mentioned, the ta comes before, in the alphabet, the ta comes first. So the ta is second person. The ya comes all the way at the end. So it's like outside of the room, it's third person. That's one of the ways one of the sisters mentioned last week. So second person is all ta. Third person is a lot of yas in there. Just ignore them two for a bit. Third person is ya. Most of the time you're going to use masculine. So masculine, third person starts off with ya. The second person starts off all with ta. The difference between the second person masculine and the third person masculine is just that they begin with ya. Yaktubu, yaktubani, yaktubuna. These begin with ta. Taktubu, taktubani, taktubuna. That's the main take-home message for this table. The 3M masculine and the 2M masculine, clock that because they come everywhere. The feminines, they don't come so much, but if you want to do it properly, then inshallah, learn the feminines too. Yes, these two are both the same. These two are both the same. The context of the sentence will tell you if it's talking about a male or a female. So one means she writes, and the same word means also you write, masculine. That's why this is the trickiest table out of them all, because the exceptions you have to make and the pattern is just not there like it is in the other ones. Yes, so somebody's asking, can we have all the tables in order so that we can print them out? Yeah, inshallah. I'll try to do a cheat sheet, as somebody close to me asked me today to do a cheat sheet where I try to put everything on 1 or 2 pages, the main tables and the vocabulary, inshallah. I will try to do that and have it done soon, inshallah. So that's all it was with this table. And then the na comes for we. So naktubu, nadhkuru, nashhadu. Ashhadu means I bear witness. Nashhadu, we bear witness. A'udhu, I seek refuge. Na'udhu, we seek refuge. I should have made that ba black. It shouldn't be red. It should be black. Happy with that, everybody? So this is still time to do the homework. You have until about Monday to do the homework, Monday, Tuesday, or whatever. But the test will be posted out on Monday, inshallah. Can you please send a recording of this table? Yes, that's one thing I didn't do. Send a recording of this table. I'll send a recording of this table, inshallah, and then just play that again and again and again, and there is still a pattern. Look, yaktubu, yaktubani, yaktubuna, taktubu, taktubani, yaktubna, taktubu, taktubani, taktubuna, taktubina, taktubani, taktubna, aktubu, naktubu, naktubu. It's a bit of a hard pattern, but it still has a flow. So yes, inshallah, just try, honestly, just try to learn it as much as you can, because come Ramadan, inshallah, you'll be smiling, inshallah. Okay, inshallah. And then we just did these examples. Ta'lamu, you know. Ya'lamu, he knows. Ta'lamuna, you all know. Ya'lamuna, they all know. Ya'maluna, they all do. Ta'maluna, you all do. Na'malu, we do.
We do.
Taf'alu, because we've only got about 2-3 minutes left, so I'm just going over them myself, inshallah. Taf'alu, you do. Taf'aluna, you all.
You all do.
Yaf'aluna,
They all.
they all do.
Do.
Tasjuduna,
You all prostrate.
yeah, you all do sajda. Yasjuduna,
They all prostrate.
there. The main thing is this one is there, and this one is you. This one is there, this one is you. Third person, second person. Ta is second person, ya third person, majority of the time. Yarji'una,
They all returned.
not returned,
They all
They
return.
all returned. Okay, it's a
turn.
present.
Present tense because raja'a is here and something is coming before it, a prefix. That means it's present tense. Yep. Tashkuruna,
They
go on then.
all
Yeah,
thank.
You all thank.
Sorry, you all thank.
Ya'budu. So abada means to worship. Abada means to worship. So ya'budu means. So
They
abada means
worship.
he worships.
He worship.
Yep. Ya'budu, he worships. Yep. Ta'buduna,
You all worship.
You
you all
all
worship.
worship.
Ya'buduna,
They all worship.
that's it. Again. Ta'buduna, you all worship. Ya'buduna, they all worship. The rest of the word is the same. Ta'buduna, second person, you all worship. Ya'buduna, third person, they all worship. That's the gist of this table. If you can get that, you've got majority of the lesson. You've got a big part of the lesson, inshallah. Ta'budu,
You worship.
you worship. Na'budu,
We worship.
we worship. And that's pretty much the end of the class. So inshallah, next week we will continue with lesson 8. We only have 3 lessons left now. Lesson 8, lesson 9, lesson 10. After that, we'll have another revision class, maybe covering the last 3 lessons and then just generally. And after that, we'll have one more class on the translation of Salah and a little talk on Khushu. And we will do the translation of Salah word for word using all the information we've learned in the course so that we can break down our Salah into words that we can actually understand and we know the meaning to, so that when we pray our Salah, we can pray it live, live it with understanding what words we are reading from the Arabic we've learned, inshallah. Can we go over the homework? So the homework was complete the present tense verb tables for the following verbs. So fa'ala is going to become yaf'alu, yaf'alani, yaf'aluna, and you stick it into that table. ظلم, يظلم, يظلمani, يظلمuna. علم, يعلم, يعلمani, يعلمuna. And you continue writing all the tables. So I want 3 tables. And the reason why I'm giving you 3 tables is not to make your hands hurt, but it's to make it sit in your head. And inshallah, when you write the table 3 times, it's going to help make that table sit in your head, inshallah. Is that okay? And then how can you work out what the vowel should be on the 3rd letter? So I'm not going to give the answer, but I'll leave you to figure that one out. Yep. And I think that's it, inshallah. Anybody got any questions? Nope. Okay, inshallah. We'll end it then, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. We just got a question here. Can I see the vocabulary, please? This one. So abun, father. Ahlun, family, like Ahlul Bayt, you see the family of the Prophet ﷺ, Ahlul Bayt, it's Ahl means family, Ulaika, you just have to learn, Ulaika means those, Ayatun, verse, Ba'id means far away, Ibn, Banun, Abna, they basically mean son or sons, children, Sabrun, that is no longer a verb now, it's a verbal now, it's a verbal noun, Sabrun, and it's a verbal noun. Sabrun means patience. From sabara. Ghayra, not. Li means for or to. La'alla, perhaps. Mithla, like. And malaika, angels. Okay. جزاكم الله خيرا سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته